Spooky zones, what we have here, $81,000 for a Bitcoin. It has continued dropping. The 50 exponential moving average did indeed meet the price as predicted yesterday. We have new pivot zones. We're now looking at 79,900, so $80,000 to be our next important support line. And for now, I mean, we're absolutely in a downtrend. There's no doubt about that. I had a better downtrend drawn, although I think it was on the main account. So let me just draw one from here. It was probably from here. Yeah, this is just from a recent increase in the candlestick, right? But that matches practically with the 50 exponential moving average. We do need to, to slow down the drop. A confirmation of that would be breaking this downtrend right over here. Our resistance also correlates here with that fib zone at 84,400 approximately. We might continue to see the down pressure, although it's still a little risky. It has just made a recent drop right over here. This is a trade I entered yesterday, by the way, which resulted in a take profit. And I also just entered one today, which resulted in a stop loss because I entered about over here and it just immediately dropped right after. So cancels out. Nothing happened. Pretend it that way. I slowed this down. This is the trade that just happened. So I ended up not doing anything with it. I'll just leave it there for now. Let me go open this. Let me go to my trading workbook for perpetual futures. And we're going to write that stuff down here. Bitcoin 29. That was already noted by me from yesterday. I noted that down after. We just made another trade, so I'll note this one down. Today is March 30 already. The month end is here. Now that I have it copied, I'll just put it there. Entered at 82,569. Let me go into more detail about this trade that I just entered and why it failed. Although it's quite evident, right? It just sitting this low is lower than this one, meaning that we could probably get another reversal like this because I already had a take profit right over here. I bought down here, sold up here. That was a take profit from last night, which was good. And I thought, okay, you know what? Let's try that again. But I clearly didn't take into consideration the downtrend. I did draw it, but in another chart, in the standard futures chart, which is where I have the majority of my positions, right? There's not necessarily any strategy there, but it's something I use separately regardless. So it entered here, unfortunately, at practically the highest point, and then, stop loss right below this minimum level, and we actually passed that and went a little bit lower, so that explains the loss. Let me note down the trading fees. Well, before I do that, I will note down the closing price at 81,436. We dipped to a low of 81,200. So lowest point so far, lowest point in the day, lowest point in the week, maybe in the month. No, not in the month. March, we had a worse. We were at 76,000 at one point. Keep that in mind. Can we go back down there? Yeah, we absolutely can. And I'll explain the reasoning why in a bit. We'll go and review the other coins first. I'll just note this was a stop loss. So that cancels out. It's fine. We're currently $316 from practically break even, right? I started this account with 4,978 and we're at $4,600 worth of a balance. So believe me guys, I am working my way back up, trying to at least. I did miss out on some opportunities that I should not have if I would have followed my strategy. This is not following my strategy, by the way. I'm going against the trend. I should be shorting the market, but I really don't want to because it just seems very volatile at this point. I feel like a reversal is very imminent. we're getting these crazy dips and then these sudden rises, which causes a lot of volatility, making what I'm expecting for a take profit to be a little too far, even though I'm using a risk-reward ratio of 1-to-1 when I'm going against the trend, which I probably should not be doing anyway. So, lesson learned there. But also, I mean, when was this? 6 a.m.? I was not awake at 6 a.m. That's why I didn't continue shorting the market. When I woke up, well, first we needed a swing to the upside, which didn't quite happen. Well, it kind of did over here, I guess. Yeah, you can make the argument that would have possibly been a take profit if I shorted the market in the morning. Yeah, never mind. I have no argument there. I'm just wrong. All right, we're on our way back up to try to test breaking that downtrend once more. If that is the case, let me go to a larger time scale. I don't think we will. I think we'll continue the drop overnight till our support level at 80,000, which could be another potential 2% drop. It's enough of a buffer to, you know, mitigate any volatility there. We did slow down at this little support that we have here, 81,100. And this is the current most important support at 79,900, right? 80,000 we'll call it. 80,000 seems like a reasonable psychological level to note down, so I will do that. 80,000, and I'll also copy this. There you go. Also lock it in place just in case. I tend to drag indicators across the screen by accident, so I like to lock those in place to ensure that doesn't happen. So, yeah, that's the state of the market. We've been having our death cross since yesterday, 1 a.m. So, yeah. I'm tired. Alright. And then, I mean, if we do continue dropping, yeah, 76,000 is the lowest point. I don't think we'll see a drop lower than this. We shouldn't. It's not allowed. Well, it could be allowed. But if it does, then this level, 73,843, that's the all-time high level for 2024, right? Most of 2024, at least. We did break out of that and rise up to 100,000 by, like, December. But, like, for March, this was the highest point last year. And worst case scenario, of course, is 70,000. Less than 70,000. You're breaking previous cycles and the trend of the market. But these are the most crucial supports you should be paying attention to, right? 76,000 recent low, 80,000 psychological level, 73,843, 2024 high point, and 70,000 flat as well. Those are levels you should be paying attention to. Where did that? You're supposed to go down to 70,000. I just want it drawn out over here. There you go. Coincides with support 3 as well. In terms of rising back up, because it can't just go down forever. I mean, it is crypto, I get it, but surely it will reverse at some point. I mean, the last zone we have for a reversal is 76,000, right? The support we had on our most recent dip of this year, lowest point of the year, right? No doubt about that. From there, it's going to take a while, but we've got a lot of resistances to break in general here. Yeah, that's the general overview of that. Solana also overshadowed by this downtrend. It seems like it's slowed down over here. Support coincides still with the uptrend, meaning that Solana can still see a drop to 115. I'm pretty sure that was the same kind of level I showed before. I mean, yesterday, right? So similar deal. Saturday was pretty flat. Sunday as well. Well, Saturday was more of a drop day, but Sunday has been also pretty flat. Monday, things will start picking up in terms of volatility. And it's likely going to be to the downside in preparation for Liberation Day. I have more news about that, so I'll save that for later. But yeah, you get the point. What else do we got? Ethereum 1805. It's dipped below 1800 couple times now, and that's pretty dangerous. But safe, I guess, for now. But it's still very dangerous. Super critical support line for Ethereum. This is like devastatingly like last resort. Ethereum destroys this uptrend, it's over. You're gonna have to start like from there forming new uptrends every time going forward. So it's important we at least keep this like last cling to life in terms of an uptrend, right? Currently using the support from here, which it's not even that wonderful to see either. I guess I could kind of adjust it there to make up for it, but it's still just like, no, come on. It's such a shallow line. That's because it's a very long-term trend line, right? So that's why. But man, no, if we do break below that, it's over. Like, I wouldn't even look for the support anymore. You can just completely ignore 1,753, and Ethereum just has, like, the largest drops in the shortest amount of times, right? Recoveries are there, but they're not as frequent. You're just seeing major drops for Ethereum, mainly. Right? That being said, we are still under this downtrend. Could take a while for us to break out of it in general. Down 1.80%. Solana was 0%, but at 124. And Bitcoin was down 1%. I didn't mention those, so there you go. XRP dropping as well. 2.51% down. $2.10. Okay. What do we have for XRP? Still enough space for another drop. Man, I'm just thinking about Ethereum. Like, something has to save Ethereum. Maybe it can not drop compared to the rest if we get any ETF staking news for Ethereum. That could be the only thing that would save Ethereum, in my opinion, at this point. Or maybe whale buying. Or maybe, you know, Monday turns out to be not that bad. Although I think it will be bad. I think tomorrow will be a down day. Like, it just had to be on Wednesday, right? Liberation Day. It's too long. Too long of a wait. But yeah, we'll see what happens there. XRP still, you know, headed toward the downside. Slowing down at $2.04 is the support that we have for that. Next support as well would be the uptrend in general at 196 approximately, coinciding with, what do you call this? The first support in terms of pivots. Great. SUI is 0%, $2.31. After rallying a good rally, good 26% pump from $2.23 to $2.82, it's already erased all of that. And we're back down to square one. A lot faster too, by the way. We did see a mini little rise again, 8% practically from 225 to 245, but it immediately corrected as well, and it is where it started again, $2.31. Let's see, terms of support, that's where we are right now. Next one, if we do see a drop, you're going to drop to $2.14 or $2.13, $2.12. $2.13 I'd say is a safe bet for SUI to drop to. If we do get a drop tomorrow, that's how low we can go. If that does break, then 196, which is our absolute lowest point, God forbid we touch that level. Ooh, I want to go a bit longer term, because I don't have an uptrend drawn. And surely SUI has an uptrend indeed. I mean, we'd have to draw one from this low till the most recent low at the beginning of March. It's going to be annoying to do, but I guess it works for now. Let me reduce this to a 4-hour chart. Are these drawn correctly? Yeah, they are. Just looks different in the weekly charts. There, that's the low, and I think this is on almost there. There you go. So this is the uptrend that we have. Also also coincides with the first support exactly at 213, so that's perfect. If we do drop, that's where I'm putting my bet on. You know, I'd even be willing to drop some DCA money in there for a potential reversal. It just seems so likely for a reversal there. It doesn't mean that it has to reverse there, but it's just very likely. And the market works off of probabilities. Litecoin is $85.66, down 0%, and also nearing a support level at 835 based off of its recent rise from a low of March 10 as well. But keep in mind we have another support much further away from February 2nd. That is the more important one at the time. From here we have a couple supports. The first one is the absolute lowest point, March 10, which was 83.25 for Litecoin. The support one at 81.50. And then the lowest point of February 2nd, which is $79.78. I don't think we're dropping lower than that. In terms of uptrends, I don't think I have one drawn here either. But it's absolutely going to be a longer term one. Okay, well, I guess not. Not that much of a long term, seems. You could draw one from this low all the way to... Man, these are all broken. Is that over then? We have no more hope for Litecoin. It's already broken its major uptrend here. And I don't have enough historical data to go further back. So, well, that's what we got to deal with for now. A broken uptrend. That doesn't look good for Litecoin. Similar deal, I guess we need more ETF news for Litecoin. The reason why it was rallying before this whole drop over here was due to the news of a potential Litecoin ETF, you know? While most coins had their original drop February 2nd, Litecoin rose significantly after that due to possibilities of an ETF. But nothing else came of that, and it continued to drop with the rest of the coins. March 10, also a very bad day, and then we are where we are. Similarly to where we dropped in March 10. It's all due to tariff news, realistically. I know I've got a lot of lines, don't worry guys. They mean something. First of all, this one doesn't mean anything anymore. So we could remove that, just to stop enough all this complication here. This counts as a support. That's something that we could see, absolutely. This is also technically a support level, or a resistance now. Served as a support before. So yeah, that's practically where we are in between this zone. Alright, and Cardano's our last coin, down 3% today as well. Look at that, we broke the uptrend, unfortunately, and we slowed down at the 64-cent Fibonacci zone, which it's a support level from the low point of March 10. We slowed down at that exact point. We could continue dropping to 62 is the next point. And then worst case scenario is, of course, 58. I don't think we're dropping that low. 62 is what I'll keep my eye on. But these, they're gone. Same with this one, but why did this one not disappear? Where's this one from? What? Is it a downtrend? Yeah, it is a downtrend one. That's important to keep for resistances. This one was looking for drop reversals, but we're already at the lowest point, so you can remove that one. This one stays there. Okay, that works out. Yeah, Death Cross is there for Cardano and still headed toward the downside. You know what? I think I'm willing to short. Or maybe not. No, I'm still conflicted on whether or not I should. Because there's still Macro analysis. I mean, we're always getting good news, but the market just seems to completely ignore that, worry more about tariffs. Rather than follow gold, it will follow what the S&P 500 is doing, the stock market, instead, which, you know, just completely, that's not the reason of crypto's existence. It's meant to be something completely different. But there's a lot of institutional roles in the crypto market by now, which explains the impact of the price of crypto compared to the stock market. The correlation that they have, it's similar now, which, you know, technically shouldn't be, but yeah, that's the case right now. How's this reversal going? Yeah, it's gonna likely continue dropping. I think I've missed my entries by now. Should have entered in the morning, but I was not there to trade. I didn't have my computer on. All right, that's your little bit of news. I will not be entering any trades tonight. We'll let the drops continue. Asian markets already open, so we'll see what they do. First quarter, like I've already explained, it's set to close its worst in a long time. Bitcoin and Ethereum closing the first quarter of 2025 and with the worst returns in 7 years. Not exactly the start of the year anyone expected, but there's still obviously some optimistic views. Bitcoin's next leg up, we're looking at 150,000 to 200,000, and that's going to happen toward the end of the summer. I've explained it with the M2 money supply chart. Also shows a similar deal. Beginning of May is when the markets start rising again, according to M2 money supply, if it has any correlation between the price of Bitcoin. Altcoins will follow that. We'll be trading above 100,000 by end of second quarter. Second quarter will be April, May, June. So by June, by summer, we will be above 100,000. Or from early quarter 3. So June, July, he's looking at Bitcoin above 100,000. I agree with that. And while we're at it, I'm just going to show the, you know, this chart. Global M2 money supply versus Bitcoin. It's the similar thing. Beginning of May is when we'll start rising. June, you're looking at Bitcoin right over here. 98,000. Could possibly be 100,000. It's practically what's being expected, right? By June, July, right over here, we'll be at around 100,000. 90 to 100,000. So this makes sense. You'll see global Bitcoin euphoria once again, which will be the final Bitcoin blow off top around 175 to 200,000 in the fourth quarter. So by September, October, November, December. Yeah. Based on the M2 money supply, probably, and AI. AI predicted also something similar, $180,000 to $220,000 for Bitcoin by the end of the year. ETH is, Ash Crypto at least, is predicting 7,000 to 10,000 by the end of the year. That's a 7 to 10x from where we are. No, it's not really. We're almost 2,000. We're not really 2,000, but I'll round it up. I'll be generous with Ethereum. 2,000 for Ethereum. To reach 7,000, you have to do a, 3x, 4x? Or 10,000, a 5x. Right? Yeah. My math isn't failing me, I hope. So that's the deal there. It's done it in the past, and it's still doing it right now. Remarkable how Bitcoin continues to follow very closely the M2 money supply with a 108-day offset. I've explained this practically every stream by now, but I just can't stress how important it is because it's just working. It's just working. It just shows 80% in sync at best. So 20% of the time it will do something the complete opposite, of course. But 80% of the time, it matches what happens in the crypto market, which is interesting to say the least. All the Bitcoin's liquidity sitting above $85,000 You know what that means? It's where we can see some good liquidation zones. We're talking about this little zone right over here. The next greenest part, green means all that liquidation, it's looking like at 85,000, right? 86,000 as well looks really hot. 87, it's there. Majority of it, though, is, what would this be? 88,000, where we had our highest point for Bitcoin in the recent weeks, right? Short squeeze could be coming soon. That's good. What do we need for short squeeze? Mass buying. Bitcoin order books on Binance and Coinbase have a positive skew. So these are people that have their trigger orders. There's a lot of people putting orders within 82,000, 80,000, right where we are right now, just a little bit lower. That explains the price rejection from this candlestick right over here. There's people willing to buy Bitcoin around these levels, right? They're not letting Bitcoin drop further. Obviously, they don't have all the power, so if Bitcoin does continue to drop, they'll be negative for a while. But this continues all the way till, you know, this is where the money is sitting. All around this zone, there's buy orders. Meaning that the 80,000, it just further reinforces the fact that this is a very important support line for Bitcoin. That's why it's the next line that it's drawn over here, $80,000. Hopefully, we shouldn't see it drop that low because there will be enough buy power to suppress the drop from continuing from there. That's one of the reasons why I don't really want to short because I would not short here. Also a big week ahead. It's very volatile. Anything can literally happen. Price can shoot up, price could shoot down. So yeah, we'll see. Good news though, Michael Saylor, remember that he says it needs more orange before. More orange means the purchases that MicroStrategy purchases of Bitcoin. He's been buying massive purchases, you know, the bigger the circle over here, near the tops, until a recent dip that we had. Then he bought a couple times, twice, and now he says he needs even more orange, meaning that he's probably preparing to buy more Bitcoin. Likely going to happen tomorrow when the market opens. We already know that MicroStrategy is going to buy more Bitcoin. GameStop will buy Bitcoin. And Marathon will be buying Bitcoin as well. So a lot of inflows are expected to come to help us, you know, with reinforcements in this dip. Will the drop continue? Probably till here. But from here, that's just further reinforcing the fact that we will bounce back off from 80,000 is what I'm seeing from this. There's also a lot of transfer activity going on from Strategy. Sending 7,383 Bitcoins into 3 new wallet addresses. Obviously to hold long term. This guy is not planning to sell his Bitcoins. It's worth $612 million. So there you go. Whale accumulation. Ethereum is testing that key support that I mentioned here. Now we're moving on to Ethereum. This, would you even call it an uptrend anymore? Right? The volume is weak, the sentiment feels worse. But historically, this is where the real moves begin. Don't sleep on ETH. There's still hope for Ethereum. You know, how much lower can it go? Well, it can go lower. No, it can't. It shouldn't. It mustn't. Otherwise, it's over. We'll be making new lows, right? So, I don't know. We'll just hope that Ethereum doesn't drop too much, although it's proven to be the one that drops the most for literally any tiny speck of news. Some Solana news we have here. Whale activity, buying 1,800,000 Solana, instantly staking it. That's a total worth of $223 million, $223 million. You know, the whales are buying and staking it for long term, obviously. They'll be getting some passive income, and also their capital will grow along with the price of Solana. There's still faith in Solana as well, right? It's not over. 126 current price. Yeah, 115 if we do drop. Nice. Pump.fun still there too, becoming the top DEX on Solana decentralized exchange. I guess it's replaced Radium and not replaced, but it's, you know, in the lead compared to Radium and that other one. Hyper Liquid. There we go. All-time high $1.8 billion in volume and 59% of the market share in the last 24 hours. That's pretty good. Or is it good? Pump.fund is mainly focused on meme coins, and people are still doing meme coins, it seems like, on Solana. But it doesn't show that it's dead, so, you know, more transactions on Solana is always a good thing for the environment in general. So, good use case, I guess, if you want to put it that way. Liberation Day. Trump posted this. He said that it's coming very soon. For years, we have been ripped off by virtually every country in the world, both friend and foe, but those days are over. America first. He is, that's the reason why he is doing this. To protect America, I guess. That's the reason for these tariffs. And before I talk about this, this is also a part of it. Like, he's trying to help the economy as much as he can, it seems. Auto tariffs are likely to generate $100 billion for the United States, with total tariffs expected to raise $600 billion per year. Trump trade advisor Navarro said. Do we have any more posts from Solid Intel? What did I just get? Elon Musk news. Yeah, this is just insider trades and irrelevant information. So this is what we have right now. Literally, what, 20, 30, 40 minutes ago? When was this posted? 1 hour ago. Okay. Japan's stock market already opening toward the downside, falls nearly 4% as investors prepare for Trump's Liberation Day. It's all just going to be preparation for today, well, not today, Monday and Tuesday. Wednesday will be the big day itself. And we're probably still going to see a drop, or maybe not, hopefully not. Things will be like relatively speculative until there. So that week is coming up. Auto tariffs, again, that's also coming in. They're pricing in that change. I know crypto has nothing to do with that, but it's still part of the importance of, you know, what other countries' assets or risk willingness is. People would rather not invest in a market when there's a lot of tariff activity. So they're withdrawing their money for now. That explains the M2 money supply, like, also decreasing. It's not technically decreasing right now, but the offset that we're seeing, it's being priced in, right? With the April 2nd tariff drop that the market is apparently pricing it. It coincides exactly with the global M2 money supply if you shift it ahead 108 days. April 6th seems to be the M2 bottom. April 2nd seems to be the tariffs. Maybe we go even further down. I don't know. It doesn't look that good, though. This week, very volatile. It will be. And of course, when this kind of stuff happens, people would rather stop investing in very risk-heavy assets, such as crypto. Stocks would be next. They would invest in something more safe, such as companies that are probably not affected by tariffs, or ETFs that are not affected by the sector of the tariffs affecting that sector, or, of course, commodities in this case. Gold being the main thing. Gold price is up 70% in 16 months. New record market cap of $20.75 trillion. For comparison, Bitcoin is, what, 1 trillion or is it 3 trillion? We can check on CoinMarketCap. 1.6 trillion. Yeah, the total crypto market cap, I think, is 2.68 trillion. Oh, wow, it dropped. Yeah. So gold is, let me do the exact math for you. Oh, it's only 20 trillion. I thought it was 30 trillion. Hold on. Calculator, 20.75. I'm already doing this wrong. 1.6 divided by 20.75 trillion. So 7% of whatever gold amount of money that is in gold is in Bitcoin right now. That means Bitcoin can rise, what is it, 100 divided by 7, 14 times more before it reaches whatever the amount of the market cap that gold has, right? Bitcoin still has a lot of potential in the very, very long term. The fact that gold is worth $1.25 trillion more than the combined value of the top 10 most valuable assets, gold is, it is indeed doing something. It's making new all-time highs, right? I try to summarize as much as I can. Relative strength has been unparalleled for the last 2 years. Gold has been outperforming the US dollar, Treasury yields 10-year, and S&P 500. And normally people buy gold in moments of crisis or uncertainty, right? Whenever there's wars, whenever there's trade wars in this case, people will be buying gold. They think it's safer. Although, I don't know. In my opinion, you should be buying Bitcoin instead. But we take advantage of these drops as well. Oh, also to combat inflation. People think that gold is also a hedge against inflation. But so is Bitcoin. And Bitcoin is even better than that. So, I don't know. And here's also peaks of uncertainty, right? Is this a volatility index? I don't think it is. Geopolitical risk index. Okay, that's the first time I've ever heard of this. It's practically volatility index. January 2020 was US-Iran. No, I would say this would have been COVID, right? January 2020. March 2020 was when COVID really hit. Russia-Ukraine in March 2022. I'd say it was February, but yeah. October 2023, Israel-Hamas, yep. Israel-Iran in April. Yeah, I survived that. And now we're bracing for what could possibly be trade wars, I guess. Trade war uncertainty, record physical gold buying, rising core inflation in the US. That was indeed the case with the last data that we got this past week. US debt crisis and 1.8 trillion of deficit spending, elevated geopolitical tensions. So that explains the reason of gold rising at the moment. Oh, well. Well, we have some Canada news. Vote Pierre, and he will charge no capital gains tax on any investment that you invest in Canada. That's interesting. So anything that you buy that's a Canadian asset, if you are a Canadian, you will not get charged any tax on that. That's really good, and it incentivizes Canadians to invest in their own country rather than, literally, even I'll use myself as an example. I don't want to invest in any Canadian company. Why? Because the returns probably not that great, and the Canadian dollar is losing its buying power compared to the US dollar. Just look at the Forex comparison between the two. And also, there's not a lot of options compared to the US market, of course, much bigger, much broader market. I'd rather just convert my money into US dollar and invest in the US market like that. And whatever little money that I do want to invest in Canadian assets, I would use my tax-free savings account. But the government puts limits on that. It seems like, what's going to happen with the tax-free savings account then? I guess it just won't exist anymore because in a tax-free savings account, if you invest only in Canadian dollars, right, Canadian companies, you won't get charged any tax on the gains that you make. But only to a certain amount of money. You can only put in a certain amount of money. The government limits how much money you can put in to grow, right? And that amount increases every year, admittedly. As you get older, you can put more money in. I think he was initially proposing to increase that limit to a much larger amount, which is a good thing. But now he's also coming out with this, that no capital gains on any investment that is reinvested in Canada. Okay, well, we'll see how that plays out. I have confidence in that. 25% incentive to buy Canadian. Sell your international stocks for $50,000 seed money. Keep rolling it over to Canadian business stocks for over 40 years with no capital gains interruptions. Millionaire, assuming 8% return. You might actually have to pay zero tax if it's a LCGE business. Ultimate point of this is not for Canadians to pay less capital gains. It's for more investment to pour into Canada, which means more jobs. Yeah, I agree with that. Most notable here is that home builders will be able to keep building and never pay capital gains tax. That is also true. It's not only, you know, if you invest in stocks or crypto, the capital gains tax thing. Also, you can't invest. Oh my gosh. Crypto's not, I guess, Canadian, so you'll still have to pay capital gains tax on crypto. Oh, whatever. But also talking about homes and properties, right? Real estate. There's also capital gains tax that exists there, so that'll be good. You'll be able to keep building homes, never pay capital gains tax. That will solve the housing crisis. This guy's a genius. As long as they keep rolling over money to invest in Canada, which will allow them to accelerate how much they build. Americans already have this called 1031 exchange, but it's only for real estate. I've never heard of it, but yeah. Okay, that's pretty good. Pretty good. I was trying to say good and cool at the same time. That's pretty cool and good. Yeah. Oh, look at this reversal. Will it last long? I'm going to see what it looks like for Bitcoin here. So, an entry would have already been made at not this candle, but this candle. Once it closed, I assume. So, it would be right here, our entry. Stop loss at the low point. That does not look good at all. Good thing I didn't enter this. Watch it hit a take profit now. I mean, we do have to break a downtrend, which is super close. There's hardly any room for growth from here. Also, is this even 10 candles? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, it absolutely is. And I would be expecting a risk-reward ratio of 1 to 1.25, which it's too far of a stretch. 83,000 again. I mean, if this is bottom, we'll be fine, but I don't think it will be. We've just been making lower lows, lower highs, so not likely. I'll keep this drawn here just in case, though, just so we can maybe review it tomorrow. Depends on what happens. Not a real trade. Don't do this. It's obviously going to lose. You're going against the trend. All right, that's all I have for today then. Great. We'll see how tomorrow plays out. It would all depend on how Wall Street reacts to, or reacts to, I guess, the preparation of Liberation Day. Do we have any economic data this week? Nothing Monday. Tuesday. Jolt's job openings at 10. ISM manufacturing. Not too crazy. Wednesday's the Liberation Day. That's going to bring volatility on its own. Is this correct in my time zone? Why is it? Yeah, my time zone is correct. Thursday, Canada data, but that's it. Friday's non-farm payroll data. Okay, that'll bring some volatility. And unemployment rate. Wow, China, I don't care. Stop. Okay. Yeah, that's all then for today. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Leave a like and subscribe if you are not yet. It will make me happy. And yeah, I'll see you tomorrow then. We'll see what happens, what Wall Street does in preparation for Liberation Day.